In this video, we're going to take a look at more paint splatter art. There are all sorts of ways that you can do this. That's what makes it so much fun. It becomes more fun when you know what you're doing. The first thing that I'm going to do is to make a paint splatter page. I'm going to open a new document right here and then select WGA, which as you can see I've already selected. In the layout box for page width you should have 1280 and for the page height you should have 720. Everything else should stay the same. So once you have that, all you have to do is to hit create. Now we'll make our paint splatter art. The brushes I'm going to use for this were imported from brusheasy.com. I'll put the website address in the description for this video. So right now we'll click on brushes, and as you can see I have 20 splatter brushes that are already selected in the drop down, and I'll select the brush tool. Now remember, you have to select the color you want. Right now black is selected. So what we want to do is to select the first color. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to go all out here, and I'll start at the top with splatter 1, and then when you go over here you're going to have your first splatter. So there it is, and you can make it smaller. Let's get rid of that one because it's a little bit too big. Okay, now you're just going to have to play around with these. You'll find that out. So we have this little one, and we can make our paint splatters. I'll make a couple of those. And then I'll go to the next brush and select blue and make sure that that's not huge. Make our next paint splatter, and then I'm going to select green. See what that looks like. Oh, maybe I want that to be a little bit different. Ooh, I don't like that one. Okay, I like that one. It's a little bit brighter. Do that splatter. And do this one, see what that one looks like. And for that one I think I'll try this color and do that splatter over here and maybe over here a little, and then keep on going down. I don't have any plan for this. I think you can probably tell that by now. And we have a splatter right here in the middle. Maybe make that a little bit smaller. And put that over there. And then I'm going to go back to red and then go down to this one and splatter this out. And I think I'm going to go back up to the top. This one right here. I actually like this one better. So we have that one there, and I think I want that a little smaller. Let's edit, undo that one. Make this a little bit smaller, and then we need yellow. So we're going to splatter around here, and maybe another blue one. So we're just splattering everywhere. So once we have all this stuff created, then we're going to get off of the brushes, go back to layers. So now we have a pixel layer for our brushes, but we need to bring in the image that we're going to do our art with. So we'll go to File and Open, and then down here we have this picture that I'm going to use called The Girl in the Hat. And I'll open that one. Once that's opened, notice that it's opened in a different tab. So right here we've got the paint splatter, and right here we have the girl in the hat. The first thing we're going to need to do is to get rid of the background. So I will click on the Hooters icon and let it sit over here until it finishes thinking about it. And then once it turns into the crosshair, you just click on it and then click down here and click here. And so we have everything selected, and then we have to tidy it up a little bit. So we will go from here to here. Sometimes this can be harder than it seems. Yep. Okay, I took a little bit too much off of that. So we have that part. We need to tidy up that part and tidy up this part a little bit and this part to get rid of that. And then down here, this looks a little weird. Our ants need to be marching in a line, and if they're not, there's an issue. And right here, I'm going to try to bring it closer. The beauty of this abstract art is that you don't really have to worry about all these hairs that you're not getting in the selection. So after we do the selection, we're going to go up to Select, and I'm going to go to Invert Pixel Selection. And the reason I did that is because I selected the background, and I want to get rid of the background. If I didn't invert it, then I would be getting rid of her and not the background. So that's just the way I like to do it. I like to select the background to get rid of it and not the person. So it doesn't matter. You can do it the other way if you want. Now we're going to hit Refine, and now we have our refined image, and we have to export it as something. So we need to export it as mask and then apply. Okay, so right now everything should look like this, and you have your mask layer along with your background layer. Okay, so now what we need to do is to get the color out of the picture because we want it as a black and white image. So we'll come over here and click on Adjustments and then go up to black and white and adjust the sliders until you get what you want. I kind of guess on this a little bit. It hasn't seemed to hurt me so far. So now we have black and white, and then we go down to Adjustments and then go up to Threshold, and then we're going to adjust our threshold until we get it to where we want, which for me is to about here. Now, I guess this is okay. I always change my mind for what I want because it really does look different depending on what you do. I'll leave it like that. I don't really remember what I've been doing. Now what we need to do is we need for this to be all in one group. So we're going to right-click and click on Merge Visible. Now when we get Merge Visible, we'll have one pixel layer, and we don't need these other layers anymore. I'll prove it. I'll deselect them so you can see that now they no longer have any effect on our image, and since they don't, we can easily get rid of them by dumping them in the trash can. So now we just have one layer, and I'm going to name that Girl just to keep things straight. Well, come on. There we go. Okay, now we need to get her over onto our paint splatter image. So what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to make her a little bit smaller, is we're going to make sure that this is selected, and then we're going to go to Control C. So we've just copied her, and then we're going to click over here on this other tab where our paint image is, and then with that selected, then we can go Control V, and there we have our image, which is on top of our paint image. And we can adjust these around in case you don't think it's like big enough, and get her in there. So here's where we can make all of our adjustments. And I'll click on her, make her a little bit smaller, move her up, and make this a little bit bigger. I want some white space there because we're going to have another background on some of these. Okay, so we can click her and move her up. And right here, this should be fine. Okay, so far so good. So now what we're going to do is, now that we have our girl and our paint splatter in the same place, we're going to duplicate this layer right here. So we're going to have two of them. So duplicate this layer. So now we have two paint layers and one girl layer. Now we're going to click on the girl and move the girl down into this paint layer. And that will give us make it look like that she's behind the paint, and now she is. Okay, so that's where we got. Now, we need to take a look at this. We've got the pixel layer on top of the girl, and what we need to do is to add a mask layer. The mask layer is because if you want to get some of the paint to show through here, we're going to have to take that off by clicking on black and then using the mask layer so we can show some of this underneath. Okay, so now we're going to do it like I said a minute ago and put the mask in there. So now you should have a stacked group here. You should have the pixel, the girl underneath, and the mask underneath the girl. And we have to make sure that this up here is black and white, and it isn't. And the way to get it back to default, which is black and white, is just to click D and see how it went back to black and white. And then we click the black, and we will click on our paintbrush and then paint over some of this, because see this hard edge down here? This is what I want to paint over. I want to get rid of this. And so we're just going to paint just so that it looks, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's just a little bit of alterations so that we can get things. See, I don't like this hard edge over here on her sleeve. And so we'll just paint over that and make sure that it is, so we don't see that hard edge anymore. Okay, that got a little bit too much, so I'm going to undo that. Okay, let me go and get a better paintbrush. So let me see. And paint over that. I just want to make sure some of these hard edges are gone. And that's good enough. So I'll click back out of this, click back on my layers, and now we have all of our touching up done. Okay, now we need to take all these and group these together. So these two, that one and that one, need to be grouped. So we'll go up to group, and now we have one layer, we have a group layer, and I should have just kept it group. I mean, it really doesn't matter. We have so few layers that it doesn't really matter at this point. So now you have a group layer. Now, here is where all of our layers are. The next thing we need to do is to select this layer right here, and we're going to use the blend mode to get some effects. So here is normal, and then you go down and see how, I mean, we've done this before, so you want to get the blend mode. That pretty much, see, there's multiply, there's color burn, linear burn, darker color, and lighten. And so we need to get one that we like the best. Lighter color. Okay, so let's see what's down here. I had it planned what I wanted to do, but okay, well, I don't want any of the black to be there. So in order to get rid of that, I'm just going to click lighten. And so that's what we're going to go with. And then after doing that, I am going to do one more alteration. Maybe I won't. I think I will. Okay, so with this selected, I'm going to add another adjustment layer, and I'm going to go up to Vibrance, and then maybe make some of these a little bit Oh, did I not select that? Okay. Okay, we need... Oh, it's working. Okay. So we have Vibrance. So we're going to brighten up our colors and then close that, and all this can be... Okay, so now we've got the group closed, and we're going to add a pixel layer. The reason we're going to do that is because we want an interchangeable background. So I'm going to take this pixel layer, and I'm going to name it black. And I'm going to move this down to the bottom, and we'll only have our black selected. And then what I'll do is to make sure your black is selected up here, and get the paint bucket tool and dump the black background on there. And this is what it's going to look like, which gives it kind of an eerie look. If I had this to do over again, I probably would have made it to where she pops out a little bit more. But you can fiddle around with this and fix it. If you want a white background, all you have to do is to toggle this off. And there's your white one. And there's your black one. This is where the vibrant colors really show up. Okay, so now let's go up here. Here's our group. And this should be as a group. So, there we go. Let's turn the black back on. I kind of like that black in there. So give this a try yourself and see if that you can do this better than I can. So now we have both a white background and a black background for our artistic work. So give this a try and make your own work of art. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And check out my Buy Me a Coffee website if you want to support my channel. I post things there every once in a while too. The link is in the description of the channel and also for this video.